Okay, I don't know if this music is copywritten or not. Hopefully not. And let's see if we can do a better angle for the crafting. So I'm not at my own house right now. How's this? Decent? Not decent? What if we put you here? Then you're looking at a knife. Yeah? Okay, I think that's good. I'm gonna move the music here and let me know if it's not loud enough or if it's too loud. It's kind of crooked. Okay, basically, I have some time to kill because I'm waiting for my friend to get home from work, and I have a small-ish number of projects with me. A couple of them are really small though. I just said small, but they don't take a ton of time, so I want to get them done so that they're done, you know? But yes, one of them is a needle felting project. So there's a sheep, and right now I just have its head and its body. And I want to make it some legs and ears, and then maybe a tail actually, although I'd have to get up to grab that. I already stabbed myself in the finger this morning working on this. So I'm being extra careful this time. Oh, it was not working. I wonder if it will let me go sideways, or if that's just the, no, that's the back of the camera. Haha. Not allowed. But yeah. I'm actually in Florida right now. And it's hot. It's so hot. And you're probably thinking, well, if it's hot, why are you wearing a jacket? And that's because however hot it is in Florida, the inside of the houses are that number in the negative. So like if it's like 100 degrees, it's negative 100 degrees in my friend's house. And I can't handle the air hitting my skin from a fan constantly throughout the day. So I just have a jacket on. But I am at a decent temperature with the jacket. Okay, I know you're supposed to like needle point them until it's pretty firm. This one is not going to be firm because I stuffed it with like stuffing. But it's just going to be a cute little decoration. I'm thinking about redoing my studio to be like meadow theme with sheep on the walls and stuff, so that might be fun. Cadence, you have a little crown next to your name and you put an emoji. Let me see, what does that mean? The little crown? That means you're my top fan right now. Thanks for leaving a comment with the little emoji. Other projects, which you may have seen in the, what is it called? The thumbnail that I literally just slapped together before going live. I have all these scraps of wool that I got from a really just amazing shop in Frederick, Maryland. And I want to make a cool like abstract piece for my living room with it on this as the background. But yeah, it's like a really cool, it was called like the Primitive Heritage Wool Shop or something like that. And they just had amazing stuff, like a bunch of different kits, but also like real wool fabric, which is so hard to find, especially since like Joanne is donezo. It's hard to find plain fabric of 100% anything besides like polyester. Hello everyone, hello from Houston, Texas. Thomas, nice to see you, thanks for watching. So yeah, we're gonna do a couple different crafts. I also have some crochet, let me show you that. This was my on the plane project. Super fun. It's actually two different balls of yarn, and this is acrylic yarn from Big Twist, which was sold at Joann. They still haven't updated us on where or like what Big Twist lines are coming back at Michael's, but I'm glad at least some of them will. But I just thought these went together so well. So I'm doing 2 rows of each color for a granny hexagon. I'm at a strange point where I don't have any custom orders right now, which is fine, especially because I am having surgery in September, so I don't want to have anything that's like taking too much time. Thank you, Addie. Nice to see you in the chat there. But yeah, I'm gonna be resting, so I don't want to like feel like I'm waiting on someone's project. You know, I don't want somebody to I don't want someone to feel like they're waiting on me when I can't work. If I tell someone this will be done within a month, it means like a month of like working time. And if I have to take a couple weeks off to recover, then that's not working time, and I don't want them to feel bad. I didn't do all of that on the plane, so I actually was, so like I said, I'm in Florida, so I'm in Orlando right now. I went to Disney Springs, which is like a free Disney area that's mainly for shopping, but they do have some like performances and stuff there. I went there with my friend, and when we were like waiting for our food and stuff, I worked on some, and then I work on it when I'm in the car too, if I'm not getting car sick actively. You're having surgery Friday. Congratulations. I hope it goes well for you. Let's see. I think his head is like almost done. It's kind of strange. This kit, felting kit, gave me 1 finger protector, but like you need 2 fingers to hold your thing still, so I don't know. So there's the little head. I think I'm gonna work on the ears next because those will connect, and I'm just gonna like grab a little bit out of there and then twist it around and make a little nub basically. And then once that's solidified, I can add it onto the other piece. So here, let me hold that down. I just have to do some like preliminary stabbing to get it in place. I don't do needle felting all that often. I guess it's one of those things that like you kind of have to set up for it. You can't just bring it everywhere. So kind of have to be at home to work on it. We're kind of getting a little blob formed now. This tool is kind of a game changer though. There's like 8 needles in it. So you can get your basic felting, like the main bit of it done, and then you can go back in with a regular needle and shape it up. Like that's just the beginning of an ear. They're taking my leg off. I have a bone disease. I'm so sorry to hear that, but hopefully after the surgery you'll be able to rest and not deal with that anymore. I know after my surgery I'm gonna rest a lot. I'm gonna be doing a lot of crafting. Okay, I think I need to take out my single needle now, which honestly, I don't know where they've all gone, but I only had 1 left in the kit, and I know it came with at least 3. So I need to like, I need to either find them or maybe buy some more, or maybe I'll find some at Scrap. Scrap is my favorite store that has reusable items like craft supplies and stuff. I just want to get this one less fuzzy and more ear-shaped. Have any of you tried needle felting before? What is your take on it? I used to watch a lot of macaroons videos on needle felting, and I actually learned about needle felting before I learned about crochet. So I was watching a lot of needle felting videos, and then in the suggested videos there was crochet, and that's how I learned what crochet was and how to do it through YouTube. This is good for aggression. I have been a little bit stressed the past few days, so. You could get a parrot, oh my gosh. Parrots actually live for a really long time. Like, birds in general live longer than you think, especially pet birds. But, of course, that means you'd have to take care of it. And there are birds that people have as pets that, like, talk, and then you, like, try to train them to say certain things, but they want to say totally different things, or, like, swear. But yeah, let me know if you're working on anything while watching, or like if you're at work. I definitely want to do more live streams, and honestly maybe while I'm recovering I could do a couple just chill crochet streams. How's that for a little ear? And then with felting, you need to leave some like wispy bits at the bottom so that it doesn't, like that's the part you attach to the other piece, because it's easier to attach the thinner bits of wool than, like if you had already felted it, it would kind of already be locked in place and not want to attach as easily, I guess. Yeah, let's see this. I'm gonna try it starting with the single needle this time. See how that goes. But yeah, I've been in Florida for like 2 days. I have like 1.5 days left before I gotta go back home. I've been traveling so much this summer because I've had, I helped my friend move into this place, and then I went back and I have a family vacation coming up, which is in South Carolina at Myrtle Beach, which I don't think I've ever been to Myrtle Beach before. I just remember when I was in school, all the cool kids had Myrtle Beach sweaters on. And yes, I did get too impatient for the single needle, and I'm switching back to the multi-needle for this year. At least for the beginning part. I wonder if I put enough wool on this part, but hopefully it is enough. But yeah, when I was at home, I started a new project. I started a blanket with granny stitch. So it's not a granny square, but it's just the same stitch but in stripes. And I'm using pastel colors because I had a lot in my stash. I'm kind of getting overwhelmed by how much acrylic yarn I have in my stash, especially because I haven't been getting a ton of commissions, and my store is still pretty well stocked, so it's not like I need to replenish things that much right now. So I was like, I want to use up some of this, and I just started making a blanket. It's funny how when I'm like not trying to start new projects, I feel like I finish things so quickly, and then when I'm like, I need to use stuff up, it takes forever. But I guess that's because I'm using like blanket amounts of yarn. Although I did use a lot of yarn for a cardigan that I made in Pride Month. I used like 3 or 4 full skeins of yarn for that. And surprisingly, a bunch of the things I made to restock my Pride items already sold, so I have to like remake them for next year, which is fine. This is why I'm not a felting artist. I'm getting slightly bored, and I'm like, when will this be done? I want the finished guy, but I don't I don't want to spend 1,000 hours stabbing his ear. So there's that and that one. And then we can put it on our sheep's head. Like this. Yeah, I just have to attach those, which is gonna be a little difficult, I think. It's kind of hard to see because it's black, but I can do it. But yeah, if you've been working on any cool projects, please tell me, let me know. Because I like hearing what other people are working on. I did start spinning yarn again, so I hadn't spun in a little bit. Just because, again, it's kind of something that you have to be sitting down to do. At least the one that I use is an electric wheel, which I can't just like carry it around. I did make plans with my dad to make a like travel spindle for me, so I can like spin on the go or while walking or whatever, but we did not create it yet. So I did some spinning for Tour de Fleece, which is basically just where spinners make yarn for the duration of the Tour de France like bike race. And the group that I was in was on Facebook, and it was the rule was basically just make a goal and try to accomplish it. Some people try to like spin a certain number of miles, like they'll try to spin as many miles as the bikers go, but I was not gonna do that this time around. So I just made my goal to spin a skein of yarn, and I actually was filming it for a video, which you will see soon enough. I basically had my sibling pick the colors from my stash, and then I made a fractal with it. So yeah. Okay, this is getting a little bit funky. How do I fix this? He's a little wonky, but that's okay. I'm going to do the back of his head some. Again, really good craft for stress relief if you need to like stab something. I'm trying not to get rid of all the fuzzy stuff at the back, because again, that's how I'm going to attach it to the body, but kind of have to use some of it to attach it to the head here. Like beating the devil out of it like Bob Ross. And then the other side. Okay. I think it's almost where I want it. Just kind of got to get the ears fixed into the exact position that I want. I hope you can like see something going on here. There's his little head. I don't know if I'm gonna put eyes on it eventually. I do want to try like felt painting at some point, which is basically when you just take a sheet of felt and use wool to make like scenery or a picture on it. That's another thing I think would be fun that I haven't tried yet. Alright, I think that ear is pretty secure. I gotta get the other one down. What do we think? I think it's pretty good. And then to attach it to the body, I know there was one spot that was like a little weird looking, so I can cover it with the head. And I think that was right here. I'm like shaking the whole table. Trying to get like all around the head to make sure it's attached properly. But again, I'm not like the most experienced at this, so I'm just trying my best. How's that? He's getting there. Little sheep. I think the weakest point is underneath his head, so I'm going to focus on that for a little bit. Like his chin area. I'm friends with somebody who does a lot of needle felting. And one time we went to a store that had like a bunch of really cool wools and stuff. And I got her some for her stash. And they had really cool ones that were like multiple colors in it. Because she does a lot of stuff like mermaids and fairies and fantasy things. Meanwhile, I'm like, I like sheeps. Sheeps make me some wool. It is kind of weird that you have to like stab him in the face a million times to make him, but he'll be okay. This is something that like I wouldn't do on a plane though. Just because it's more obviously stabby and perhaps violent than like crochet or knitting. Little sheep. I did have some like curly wool that I was thinking about putting around the outside, but I'm not sure. I think the ones that I have with me are a little, like I don't have enough to cover the whole thing, but I think maybe when I get home I will cover it with curly wool locks. Because I think that would be cute. I do also have a pack of like rainbow wool locks, so maybe another day I'll make another sheep that's got the rainbow curls on it. I'm like staring at my son. The sun! His ear's a little floppy on that side. What if we make it slightly less floppy? Meh. What do you think? Can we get some sheep emojis into chat? I'm gonna put him right here. Because I think I'm gonna switch to stitching. There's also this cursed like cat in here. It was gonna be Pumpkin from Neko Atsume, but I never finished it, and I think either my sibling or one of my friends shoved the eyes into the body, and now he just lives in the little toolbox. Oh, I have to put the needle away. Yeah, so there was that. I'm gonna put all the felting stuff away and start on my, what's it called? I don't know what this actually is called. It's just like, I'm using this as a canvas, and I'm just stitching squares and stuff to it. I'm actually gonna cut a piece of this wool off to use as a coaster because my drink is sweating. And I have a lot of that one, so let me see if I can get you a better view of this. Okay. So I have these threads, and I also have sewing threads to use. And I was considering doing like a bunch of different stitches to attach the pieces. But first I'm going to put them all on here. So I have like this really cool yellow and orange. I have some more yellows and blues and just all kinds of stuff. So I'm kind of just gonna play with it and see what happens. I am gonna grab my pins because I want to pin stuff down. Yep. So I just got a bunch of my pins in here, and I'm gonna like cut shapes and put them on here and hopefully do it in a pleasing way that I enjoy. And I might try to do some like textural stuff. I want to try doing different stitches because I haven't done embroidery in not a long time, but like I don't do it super often, and I did some recently that I just had like a lot of fun with. So I would love to do another piece, and that's what this is. And I'm kind of just like prepping my pieces here. I want them to mostly be square or square-ish. And I don't have much of a reason for that, just that I want it to. And I did like a little sketch on my iPad the other day of like what it might look like when I just like picked a bunch of random blues and just like drew some square shapes and vibes with stitches running through them. So let's do that. This one I think would be cool as 2 squares. It's kind of like doing a puzzle, I guess. So like if I start with that one up there, put this here. Let me see if I can get you a different angle. I can like hold you and flip it around. So this is what I'm working with right now. I'm trying to make it like interesting and maybe have some overlapping. And then the other thing was I want it to be like, I don't want them all to be like perfectly horizontal or vertical. So I have to figure out what I want to do to change the orientation of some of them. Like that, for example. Or if that's up there, I could do maybe like this and that. And then this one, I think I'm gonna have to rearrange some stuff. I don't want them to be like too close to each other if it's the same fabric. So if I do that there, this here, and then I don't even know if I want to use that one. Let's cut this one. Snip. You know, I'm like mostly playing with the color and the shapes, but I don't know exactly where I'm going yet. This bit is kind of dark, so we'll have to see. We'll have to see where it goes. That could be kind of cool going across the whole bottom. But I'd want to scoot it up some so it's not like covering the very bottom. And then I have this too. It's really dark gold color is pretty cool. I don't tend to gravitate towards the dark colors, but they are really nice in the right context. And these I got, again, from that like heritage place. These were in the scrap area, and you could fill up a bag, and then like depending how much it weighed, it would cost a certain amount. Okay, I feel like I want a blue that's going diagonal. But which blue? This one kind of doesn't contrast, and this one is the same fabric. Although this could be cool to do as a contrast. I don't know. I think this one might be getting disqualified for this project. These are really dark. So maybe one going... If I change this to go this way, and then I have that one going that way, that might be cool. Do I want that over that one or under that one? Or do I want it thinner? Thicker and over. Yeah, I think that is good. And then maybe a strip of this near the top. Or under that. Yeah, yeah. This piece is kind of hanging in a weird spot. But if that goes there, oh, we haven't used this yet. Could do a kind of like that, or like this, and then some of this coming up from the bottom. I think that's good because the stitching is gonna be pretty busy over it. So let me show you what I got. Wah. Yep, that's it. So now I'm gonna like pin them all down and make sure they're not gonna move while I work on it. I'm trying to kind of pin more than one piece with each pin just in case so I don't run out. I guess technically because these are wool, I could try like felting them to each other, but I'm gonna sew it anyway, so it kind of seems like not necessary to do that. But they are wool, so if you really liked felting, you could just go ahead and stab at this for a while. And then I gotta get my threads out and see what threads I want to do on which sections. Which I think that would be pretty fun. All right. I think most of them are down now. So for thread options, I have these three. These two are like color changing embroidery thread, and this one is like a shiny embroidery thread. It's kind of like royal blue. And then I had sewing threads too. Let me run and grab them. Can't find my little bag. I found it. Finally. So I have plain yellow, plain royal blue, and then I have this like lighter blue and a slightly darker blue. So I will need some needles, which again I need to run and grab. This is the problem with like working on crafts at someone else's house, is like you have to bring everything, and then if you forgot something, it's like, whoops, I guess I don't have that, or I have to buy a new one. I have scissors out already. Here's the needle. Well, I think I'm gonna start out with this shiny thread because I don't have a ton of it and I want to use it up. So I'm thinking of splitting it in half. Oh, there's probably actually only like 2 refills of the needle of thread on here, so this is a good time to use this. I'm just splitting it into 2 strings of 3 strands, which is difficult because it's very slippery. Right now I'm making a wall hanging. So it's just like a piece of art to put on the wall in my living room. And there's 1 string that I'll use later, and here's the string we can use right now. All right. Just need to tie a knot in the back. And we are ready to go. So yeah, let me see if I can get you a better view of this while I'm working. So that's where we're going. And let me see if I put you here and scoot these a little bit. I think I can get it so that you can see. I just need to put something else on top so that you are not going to fall over. And maybe that can be this. Yes? Maybe? Are we gonna stay put? Hopefully. So yeah, a lot of the like example pieces in the shop that I went to were wool fabric with stitching around them. That was very like, I don't know, they had a lot with blanket stitch, and they were kind of like around the perimeter of the pieces. So I'm going to start by trying that with this one. But then eventually I want to have them like lots of different types of stitches going around, going through, and going like onto the little pieces here. Really, I just wanted something simple that's not a picture that I can stitch on for fun. And this is already so great. I love wool. I love wool yarn. I love wool fabric. I'm definitely going back to this shop. I was trying to think of like what kind of like garment I might like to make out of wool fabric, and I haven't decided yet because I'm really not a pantsuit person, and I don't know that I need like a fancy coat, but like at the same time I deserve a fancy coat because I'm pretty cool, and if I can make it I might as well, you know. But yeah, this thread, as annoying as it is, when you're like pulling it through, it is very smooth. Oh yeah, I don't remember if in the shop the examples had them do like a corner stitch like this, but I'm gonna do one for this. And yeah, that's the first side, all done. And I just keep going around. Sometimes people will say things like, oh, you must have so much patience to do this. And I'm like, no, I actually don't have patience with, like, life. And that's why I do things that use my time and, like, have me focus on something for most of the day. Because if I don't focus, I'm so unfocused that it is like torture to me. And that is on having ADHD. But yeah, this stitch is just called a blanket stitch. I think I have a tutorial for it in my shorts section on YouTube. But it's pretty easy to figure out. You just make a loop and pull the string through it. And of course now I have a knot. Okay, hold on. What is happening here? Okay, it apparently had went through itself instead of the loop, so that's fixed. But like, it kind of made this part all ratty. But that's fine. And then to maintain the like overlapping kind of look, when I get to this spot where the other piece of wool is covering it, I'm gonna like just skip a bit underneath and then come back around this side. And it'll basically look like it's continuing under there, but it's not actually. So I'm just gonna like go through to the other side and pull it through, and then over here I'll like pull it up a little bit underneath the other piece and then just continue making sure that it's flat under there because I don't want it to bunch up. But yeah, this is so just lovely. I love wool fabric. I love this needle in particular. It's a little bit dull. Well, it is dull. I think it's supposed to be for needle point where like you're not really poking holes, you're mainly going into pre-made holes. But the way that the wool is woven into this fabric is just like the needle just goes through it and it's amazing. It feels very good. Why are you a loop? Can you stop being a loop? What if you line up? Can you do that for me? How about that? How about that? How about you line up? Please? I think we've kind of fixed it. I'm just gonna double check at the end where the needle is that it's all lined up. Come on. There we go. Now it should be fine and ready to behave. You good? You good? Yeah. Okay, and also, I don't know if you've seen one of my recent videos where I talk about sewing projects, but I'm planning on this August, hopefully, my goal is going to be to release the Lolita OP sewing tutorial, which people have been asking me for a very long time. And then I'm excited to finally get that out into the world. It'll be kind of like a sequel to my JSK video. But also because now that I've made one for myself, I have a pattern for it, and then I can make more for myself. Oh, there's a new comment I haven't read. This isn't currently my job, but I do sell some of the stuff that I make. I can do that because I have sausage fingers, but I'm sure there would be a lot of blood spots. That does happen sometimes, but it's depending on if you think it's worth it or not. Because sometimes I'll make a project and I'm like, I don't know if I could do that. But then you try it and then it feels good to know that you've at least tried. Okay, so now I'm going to kind of fudge this corner here because I want this piece to pull up into the correct spot. So I'm going to put it like that. And then that's my first piece attached. And then I'm just going to turn it over and tie it off. And I think I'm going to take a break from using this thread because it is annoying. And it's split on me at the very end. Let's take the needle off and do another knot. And where'd my scissors go? Boom. First piece on. And then I think the next one, I want to use yellow thread, and I want to use this color changing one because I think that will be cool. And again, I'm going to split it into being 3 strands. Kind of takes a while to change color, huh? I'm going to do a chain stitch with this one, I think. So again, I'm just splitting it in half. Embroidery is fun because you get all these like half pieces of thread, and it's essentially like you buy this, but you can get double or triple the length of this by just splitting it. And depending how small you want your stitches to be, it can be technically, you know, more bang for your buck. All right, so let's tie a knot in. I'm going to start with the light color at the end. And I'm going to go, I wanted to do chain stitch, but then now I'm thinking I want to do like a cross stitch across here, but I'll save that for another time, and I might use this one. And I'm going to go up along this blue piece here with the chain stitch. And then maybe I'll curl around and come back down. We will see. So let me just get my things situated and then I will redo the camera so you can see. All right. This would kind of be like a mini tutorial, but basically to do a chain stitch, you just wrap your thread around in a loop, and then you put your needle back in where it came out and come out above but before the loop ends. And then you just pull it, and then again you go back where it is, come up a little bit later but before the loop ends, and then make your chain stitch. And then I'm trying really hard to catch both layers of fabric, but if you're just like embellishing a piece of clothing or something, you only need to go through one layer. It kind of looks like I'm adding to the plaid of the piece by doing this. Now I'm just hoping that it's gonna make it all the way up that piece. I need another pin actually to hold that down. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go up, and then maybe I'll actually extend through this piece. We'll have to see. I want to get the full, like, expanse of color that is in this thread. Another option would be to like come back down around, but I'm not sure how thrilled I am about that idea. Whoops. Okay, I'm starting to see like the slightest hint of color changing. Very exciting. But yeah, if this overlaps that, I wonder if I should move this over just a little bit so it doesn't overlap. Because I want to have like, I don't want to stitch through way too many layers with this thread. Just for like ease of stitching and comfort reasons. Yeah, I kind of want to do a color series like this, but I just started out with the blue and like yellow theme because it already is an established theme in my house. Why are you like that? Can you match up, please? Thank you. It's already an established like color story in my living room because I redid the whole thing to be celestial theme. I really got to finish my blanket that I designed for that. Not just so I can have it, but so I can release the pattern because I can't release it without having like pictures of the finished thing. And it's not finished yet. So you can really see that like color progression is going. It's really cool. And I think actually I will, trying to think how far up it would go. I could always like go up one side and then down the other side. I'm trying to think of what I want to do in the next few stitches that I have to think about it. Okay, now I can come out. I think I might like leave the, instead of like stitching around this and then back down, I might go under and then come back down the other side. Like so. And then flip this around, remove all my stuff out of the way. And then I can work going towards the right, or towards the left, which is easier for being right-handed. But yeah, it would be cool to do a color series of these, with like one that's like all pink fabric, one that's all red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. And then like it could be really cool to do a black and white one actually, with like the houndstooth pattern and like checkerboard and zigzag and stuff. I bought some cool fabric today to make a quilt with. It's got little sewing pins all over it, which fits the quilt very well because the pattern I bought a couple weeks ago is actually a pattern for like sewing machines. So you sew or quilt a block that looks like a sewing machine, and then my background fabric is going to be the one that looks like sewing pins. And then I think what I might do is pick some really cool like this type of stuff, like embroidery thread, and hand stitch like the gradient thread onto the bobbin of the sewing machines, and then maybe put some little buttons all over the quilt, like just cute little buttons. I'll have to see, but I have a lot of like big ideas for that quilt. I always love when you have a project that just inspires you so much that you just can't wait to work on it. And for me, the issue was finding background fabric, because I know I have fabric at home that I can make the sewing machines out of, because the pattern is specifically made so that you can use fat quarters, which is a specific like size of fabric that is sold. And I know I have fat quarters at home, I just don't have, I didn't have a background fabric that I liked enough to use, and now I do. It's like a really cute baby blue with sewing pins all over it. All right, we're getting closer to the end of this yarn here. So again, with this one, I'm gonna go basically under this piece, and you can really see it here because I can literally lift it up, but I'm gonna go under, and that's gonna go toward the other side, and then I'm just gonna do like one more chain stitch on the end here to really lock it in, if I can get the placement right. And then go back under that, and then we can tie it off on the other side. I think that chain stitch looked really good with this thread. That looks cool. Then let's use some of the sewing thread, and I'm gonna try something that I don't normally do. Now granted, I don't normally do much embroidery with sewing thread, but I'm thinking it might be cool if we use like 2 or 3 strands together. So maybe all the blue ones together, or a couple blue with a yellow going through it. I'm trying to think what I might like to do. I'd want to use it on a yellow piece so it can really show it off. So maybe we'll plan to use it on this piece. And let's do the dark blue, the medium blue, and the yellow. And then I'll thread all 3 of these through my needle as if they were a 3-strand like embroidery floss, although they're pretty thin, so maybe I should just throw the other blue in here too. Might end up doing that. But then you see how it has like the different colors in it. Let me see, is that thinner or thicker than that? I think I'm gonna throw the other blue in as well. And we'll just do that. Sorry for the noise. Then I'll cut them all at the same height. And thread them in. And then we just need to tie a knot at the end. I'm a little bit worried that these will get pretty tangled, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. It's thundering outside. Okay. So is that gonna show up well on there? Or maybe we'll do it on the darker piece under it. The piece is stealing craft supplies from over here. All right, so for this one, what kind of stitch do I want to do? I'm trying to think of what stitches there are. I could maybe do like a running stitch around the whole thing and then do like a wiggle going through it. Let's try that. And I'm actually gonna start under the piece that's covering it first, unlike last time, so that I don't have to like start and stop in a weird area. Okay. I have to straighten this out some. There we go. Okay. I'm dropping things off the table. But yeah, running stitch is like the easiest sewing stitch, and then when you like wrap thread through it, it just makes it a little bit more decorative, I guess. And I'm only doing like one stitch at a time here, but you can do like 2 or 3 or 4 at a time. But just because the wool is pretty thick, I'm, you know, being a little cautious with it, I guess. And then again, I'm just going all the way to the back of the piece to pull that through, and then over here we'll pick it back up again. There's the gotcha machine capsules on the table, and they're chasing me for some reason. They want to be in the craft. I do really like how this thread effect turned out. I might have to do this some more with some of my other pieces in the future. Okay, I think that's pretty well secured, so I can take that pin out. And just keep stitching. Okay, and now we can do the fun part. Which, the running stitches, you know, it's not fun. Well, I guess maybe it is, it could be seen as boring because it's a little bit basic, but the most fun part of this stitch is when you wrap the thread in whatever direction it's gonna go. So like for this part, we're gonna go under the threads and to the left, and then under the next one we're gonna go under the threads and to the right, and I'm specifically leaving some like slack on it so that it like stays rounded like that. And then I'm just alternating which side goes where for that sort of like visual component of the like wiggliness. I may have cut myself way too much thread for this particular area, but it's better to have more than not enough, so can't complain. I'm just trying to make sure I don't pull it too tight. Get out of there. There's that. My mom has these huge books that are like the embroidery Bible or whatever, that they tell you all these different stitches and stuff. I really should open one of those up and look into the different stitches I could be doing. Okay, there's that. And then on this side, I think we're gonna start doing, oh, okay, yeah, we'll start by going outward. And then we'll go inward. This is like Finding Nemo. We go out and then back in. And then we go out and back in. Nemo is like my favorite movie as a kid, but that is because it was like the only DVD that we had, and DVDs were super cool when I was a kid. Now everyone streams things. It makes me feel old. But I don't mind feeling old. It just does make me feel old. Okay, and I'm definitely gonna have thread left, so we'll have to find another spot to use this thread combo on the piece. And I'm wondering if I should try to embroider some like stars or stuff on here, or if I should leave it more abstract. Because right now it's pretty abstract. It's pretty much vibes. Okay, and I'm gonna tie that off. And then we can do another section with this stuff. My custom blend of thread. Trying to get these threads all out of the way so they're not like making noise and causing issues. But yeah, that worked really well on that dark color. So maybe we'll do some on like the dark grayish, or what's it called? Gold? That's what I'm thinking of. I don't want it to be too close to there, but they're all kind of really close to that spot, so. Oh, who knows? Trying to think. If I did them like that, that could look cool. Let's do one on this. What kind of stitch do we want to do? Maybe we'll do like a whip stitch, but really long, so it really shows off the thread. Oh, this could be a bad idea because it would like use all our thread up, but haha, thread up. That's a place that should sponsor me. I still haven't had like an actual sponsor yet. I've had people send me some products in the past, but honestly that was a really long time ago. But, you know, I'm a thrifty person. I would have a thread up sponsorship. This kind of like long whip stitching going way past where it needs to always reminds me of like stuffed animals in storybooks, because that is not how you, I don't know, it looks like a patch, I guess. It's not really how you would actually construct an animal, but people associate it with, like, if someone handmade it, then they've done that huge whip stitch. Like, they put a patch on something. So when they draw animals, like stuffed animals in storybooks, like Winnie the Pooh, they have stitching on them that looks like this. It does look very, like, homey, though, or, like, farm-ish. I do really like the way this thread looks, if I haven't already said that 5 times. Trying to keep it, like, decently consistent, but it's also, again, it's meant to look homemade, and it's meant to be, like, for fun and, like, a sampler, so it doesn't have to be perfect. We actually didn't run out of thread, so that's nice. I just really like working with this. It's not necessarily a loose weave of fabric, but it is like the needle and the fabric are working together in such a nice way. Okay, and then this does overlap, but what I'm actually gonna do is flip it up and finish stitching this, because I think it's gonna show past the blue piece there, and I think that'll be a good, like, visual interest. See how, like, when that is lined up, it'll still have that stitching there? I think that's pretty cool. And we'll tie this off. And then I did also see recently on, like, a reel, someone doing blanket stitch as, like, a filler stitch. So I want to try that. And maybe what I'll do is, maybe on this one, with the other strand of the color changing yellow on yellow action, we could try that. And they basically just did a row of blanket stitch and then connected it with more blanket stitch. So I'm trying to figure out, how would I start that? If I did a blanket stitch going in this direction and then back, and then, yeah. Okay, let's do that. I'm gonna start with my thread up here, because I'm gonna go down and back up like this. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah. So they did like this, and then they just went the other way to build it up. We're not quite there yet. And it ends up kind of looking like lace. Whoops. Where's my needle at? The struggle of trying to keep things on camera. I swear I'm trying. And this could be a bit more even, but again, it's for vibes. It's just for like practice and learning stuff and trying stuff. So this part, I'm gonna come up through here like that. And then I'm gonna secure it down by going back through there and coming up above. Okay, that's on, so we can take this pin off. Let me just go ahead and put my pins back in the pin area so that I don't drop them or step on them or anything. But then, yeah, if we go back the other way, basically you hold it over, and then I could do kind of like a brick pattern where I go in the middle of each one, like that. Oops, sorry for hitting you in the phone face there. Kind of looks like bricks. It also reminds me of Spider-Man for some reason. Or like a honeycomb, actually. I tried orange blossom honey yesterday. It was so good. I'm being stabbed by this pin. And the color change looks really cool with this too. I wish they made like embroidery floss that was just shorter color changes though. Okay, that goes there. That goes down and then up some. Yeah, and then we go back the other way. I think we have room for like 4 rows of this stitch. Oh no, don't grab him. Keep your hands to yourself. And again, I'm trying to get all the layers that are under it at once. One of the like summer like county fairs that I put my art and sewing and stuff into every year always has like a little bee exhibit, and they have like honey and stuff, and you can try to find the queen bee. They always have like 2 of them there, and then in the one of them the queen is marked, and in the other one she's not marked. So on one you're looking for like a blue dot on a bee, and the next one you're just looking for like the biggest bee in the whole thing. But of course, you know, the queen bee she's not like difficult to find, it just depends how patient you are. And there's also like, there's bees in there doing their jobs, but the one that's probably the most sedentary is usually the queen, because she's either eating or laying eggs. Which honestly, yas queen. That's why they invented that. Oh no, I hope I have enough thread to do this last little row here. I'm gonna fudge it. I think I can do this. I can do this. If I have to put it on the other side and like tie it with another thread, I will. That goes there. That goes to the back. And see if I can tie it off. But doesn't that look cool? And it like perfectly used up that piece of thread. And the back looks cool too, honestly. Okay. Okay. Tie it off. There you go. And snip. There we go. Okay. Now I did want to do some just like normal simple running stitch going through some of these, and I think with this shiny thread that could look cool. So I'm going to put this in my needle and get that going if it wants to behave. Which of course it doesn't want to behave, but like I'm gonna make it. Okay, has a knot in it. Straightening it out. And I'm gonna trim it so I know they're all the same length. And then where did I say I wanted to do running stitch? I guess maybe I'll do one right across the center of this, continuing across, and then maybe going up. We'll see what happens. This is about vibes. Alright. So we'll start over here. I'm going to take that pin off because it's going to annoy me. It's already wanting to tangle. Yippee! Thread loves pins. It doesn't matter what project you're doing, if there's thread and pins, they will end up stuck together or tangled in each other. Let me see if I can make this a shorter working length, and maybe that will make it easier to use. I don't even know what this type of thread is like normally sold as or for, because I can't think of anything where you specifically want shiny thread. Well, I guess it is just embroidery thread, isn't it? So I guess if you wanted to make something on your embroidery really shiny, like an eyeball, I don't know why that's the first place my mind went to, or like a wet frog. Oh my gosh. Update, my husband has said that I can redecorate our office, and I asked him if he had any theme ideas, and he said, I don't know, frog? So we're gonna have frog theme office, which I personally am very excited about. Okay, and then my plan for this one is, because a lot of these, the stitching stays like on the little piece that I'm attaching. But this time it's going to go off and then onto the background and then into this piece as well. So it'll be a multi-piece extravaganza. Sorry for pulling that like directly out of where you could see it. And then yeah, it's just gonna like taper off onto the background and then eventually go back like that. And then I think I'm gonna bring it back to, maybe starting like right under this piece and then going vertically, like here. Which, that is a pretty long float on the back, but like whatever, you know, like whatever. I'm using it up. I don't mind if there's a little extra on the back. And then running stitch, and then maybe we'll get a little fancy and we'll do like some French knots. Yeah, do like a running stitch and then a French knot and then a running stitch. I did a project with so many French knots recently. It didn't make me hate them, and I knew going in that it was going to take a while, but it was like a point where I was like, I needed to do this so that I know exactly what the level of torture is, so that the next time I want to do this, I know what I'm getting into. And it came out really cool, so I am happy with it. It was a piece of my Fursona Pop Rock. It was kind of like a badge, but embroidery. And I filled in the nameplate with French knots. Which, French knots are like one of the very first things I learned how to embroider. My mom taught me how to embroider a French knot and the chain stitch to do lazy daisies. And now that I'm seeing this on here, I'm thinking it would be cool to keep going with the French knot and running stitch alternating, but with yellow on either side. So I might do that. It seems like my music player has 10% battery, so I think once that dies, I will head out and craft on my own in the wilderness without you. But thanks for everybody who came out to hang. I really appreciate it as a smaller YouTube channel, especially because I don't have like a live schedule or anything. There is also a new video from yesterday, I believe, on my channel, so if you'd like to watch that, it is available. I go fishing, I caught some fish, I knitted some socks, and yeah, did a lot of stuff. Okay, I think I'm gonna tie that off, and I can still use the rest of this length of thread later, but not right now, because it's kind of bugging me, the shininess and the slipperiness. And I am gonna do the yellow, and I think what I'll do is maybe again like 4 strands of the same color. So I'm going to start by just pulling out like 4 arm loads and then I'll fold it and put it on there. Okay, let's see if I can do this without getting super tangled. Oh. Okay, that actually worked. That worked pretty good. And that's 4 strands. Do I want to go 8 strands? Why not? Let's go 8 strands. I'm going to fold the 4 in half. Where did my needle go? There it is. And then I just need to tie a knot at the end. I've started using the quilter's knot or sashiko knot to start my threads. And I really like it. I don't remember what exactly I would do before. I think I just did an overhand knot, but this one's pretty nice. Okay, so up here, I'm also gonna start this off of the little piece and then just go on. But then instead of starting with a running stitch on the piece, I'm gonna start with a French knot, and then on like where it's lined up with the other French knot, I'll do a running stitch, and where it's lined up with a running stitch, I'll do a French knot. And then these I'm gonna wrap 3 times instead of 2 because the thread is a little bit thinner, even though I put 8 threads in it. I should scrounge in my friend's supplies and see if he has any lighter or darker yellow threads that I can use. Probably does. I just gotta dig for them. That looks really cool. Good idea, Beck. And then I'll do like the same pattern going up the other side with the same yellow thread. And then I think this is on enough that this pin can come off. My favorite part of a project is when you get to take the pins out. They're necessary, but they can be so annoying. Also, if you are someone who watches live streams later on replay, shout out to you, and also leave a star emoji in the comments so I know you watched the whole thing. Because you're swag, and I love you. I'm just so focused on doing my little pattern here. Not far up enough. There we go. I think we got like one more French knot and then I'm gonna sign off. All right, and that is our little crafty session for today. Here's a little sheep. He's back in the frame. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. And I hope to do some more of these in the future, especially like while I'm recovering, I might do a couple. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.